Hello everybody and welcome to another edition of Draw with Rob, with me, Rob Biddulph. Here I am with my dinosaurs. Now, I am a children's author and illustrator. You might know me from books like this one, Odd Dog Out, My Sausage Dog Story. Maybe you've seen this one, Blown Away. This is the board book version. This is very cool, look. It's much thicker paper for littler hands. And it's wiped clean as well, just in case there's any accidents that you might have while you're reading it. And this is super exciting. No one's ever seen this before, certainly not in one of these videos, but you can now get what you can't quite get yet, but you will nearly soon be able to get this book here. It's the Draw with Rob activity book. Isn't it cool? It's rather nice, this. Look, there we are. There's me again, Ringo. And it's really good. There's lots of activities. There's some colouring and things like that. A few of our favourite characters, draw along lessons. And what's really good is there's a special page for you to draw on. And can you see, I don't know if you can see, but there's like a perforated edge there. So once you've followed your draw alongs and drawn your Gregosaurus here, you can tear it out and you can stick it up on the wall. And look, I've made frames, but there's lots and lots of things to do. There's spot the differences and, you know, find out which lead she needs to plug her guitar in to the amp to make it work, that kind of thing. And there's all my characters from all my different books. You can fill in the voice bubbles here. So it's a really, really cool book. So that is coming out in July. What date? I'm going to put the date up down here that it comes out. I can't quite remember. I think it might be, well, I'm not going to guess. I'm just going to put it up there afterwards. So this book comes out this year, 2020, summer 2020. So that's a really cool thing that you might want to own if you've enjoyed these videos. Right, let's get my piece of paper, because today we are here, as per usual, to do a drawing together. And today we are going to draw a turtle. Now, I love turtles. They are one of my favourite animals. A few years ago, we went on holiday to Kefalonia, which is a Greek island, and there's lots and lots of turtles that swim in the seas around Kefalonia, and we were really lucky. We were sitting at a little restaurant next to the sea, and we saw some turtles. They swam right up to where we were sitting at the restaurant. It was really, really cool. And they've always been one of my favourite animals. They are really, really majestic sea creatures. So I thought it would be really nice today if we drew a cute little turtle together. So this is how it works, just in case you've never seen these videos before. Lots of people tell me they don't think they're very good at drawing. And so I say, well, you know what? Everybody can draw. Sometimes you just need a helping hand with the order to do the drawing in. So that's where I come in. We are going to do this drawing together. I'm going to draw a little tiny bit of the drawing on my piece of paper here. Then you can pause the video and you can copy exactly what I do. Then when you start the video up, I'll draw a little bit more. Then you draw, then I draw, then you draw, then I draw. And by the end, we're going to end up with something that we're really, really proud of. So, a turtle. So what you need, a piece of paper, a pen. I'm using one of my Kuretake brush pens here. And we are going to start with a line, and we're going to do this pretty much just below the center of our page. What I want you to draw is a line, a horizontal line, comes across about that far, so maybe 4 centimeters in width, something like that. Okay, so a nice easy start. Then at the left hand edge of your line, I want you to curve around and just head a little way upwards, not too far. So maybe 1 centimetre or so up, okay? But we want a nice curved edge if possible. Then this is slightly fiddly. At the top of that line, we're just going to curve around very slightly, like that. So a very slight curve. Then we are going to turn around. Again in a curve, we're going to turn around, and we're going to follow our line back around. All the way back around and along, right to where we started, like that. So it's sort of like a wiggly worm shape. This would be his head, I guess, up here. Okay. Then what I want you to do is at this end, where we just finished, I want you to very slightly curve upwards. Very slightly, not far at all. Just like that. And then once you've done that, from where you ended up, I just want you to curve around and join the 2 lines up. So it really is like a sort of wiggly worm with a slightly pointed tail. Bet you're wondering which part of the turtle this is, aren't you? and it might become a bit clearer after this next bit that we do. Okay, from here, from the tip of our worm's tail here, I want you to draw a straight line up, just a bit higher than this side, about there. And then we are going to curve around in a nice smooth curve all the way around, and we're just going to join up with that part of the curve. So just where this line starts curving around, we're going to join up with our curve. I wonder if you can tell which bit of our turtle this is. It's pretty obvious, isn't it? Shall I tell you? It's the shell. It's our turtle's shell. Okay, let's give our turtle a head, shall we? So what I want you to do now is just this area here, this point here, which was when we were drawing before, we were calling this a worm, weren't we? So sort of where our worm's nose would be, I want you to draw a line. It comes out a tiny bit, but it sort of curves round like that and heads off upwards. And we're going to go quite high up, quite a bit higher than where our shell finishes, to about there. And can you see I've sort of curved out and then I've sort of started curving back. So it's very slightly sort of, well, like S-shaped, but mirror image S-shaped, but very sort of gently curved like that. It's quite nice to try and keep it a nice swooshing smooth curve like that. Okay, then from the top of our curve, we're going to come along. We're going to go, still we're keeping everything quite sort of curvy, but essentially we're sort of going straight along the top. But I've curved around into that line and I'm just starting to curve out of it there at the end. Okay, next, I want you to head straight down, about that far. So maybe that line's finishing roughly the same height as the top of our shell there. Okay, let's curve around again. Remember, we're keeping our lines nice and curvy, and we're going to head back along to about there. We're going to stop a centimetre or so short of joining back up with that line. Okay. I don't know if any of you have done the Gregosaurus draw along with me. It was the very, very first draw with Rob video I did, at least during this period of drawing with Rob videos, and it was of a baby Stegosaurus. Well, this turtle actually has a lot of similarities to that drawing. So you can see this is our turtle's head shape. It's very similar to Gregosaurus, so I don't know if you remember that, but there's quite a lot of crossover there, so it might help you if you did that drawing with me. Okay, the next thing to do is, from here, we've been doing lots of nice curvy shapes, but now we're going to do a sort of a right angle. We're going to do a sharp turn here. So we're going to head straight back down. We're going to follow the same sort of angle as this line here, and then we're going to curve around and we're going to disappear inside our shell. So can you see it's like the turtle's neck coming out of the shell, like that. Okay, shall we wake our turtle up? This is always my favourite bit to do in these drawings. What I want you to do, we're going to give him a nice big eye, a bit like the Gregosaurus eye. So around about here, I want you to do a nice big circle, just like that. We want, can you see I've left a bit of space above here because I'm going to add an eyebrow above here in a minute. You know, adding eyebrows is one of my favourite things to do. It really helps when you're trying to make somebody look a bit jolly. But before we do the eyebrow, let's give our turtle a pupil. Now, I think we want our turtle to be looking at us. Now, I don't know if I've told you about this before, but there's a strange thing that happens. When you draw a character's head from the side, like this, if we want him or her to be looking straight at us, so straight at camera, if you like, you would think you would do the pupil right in the centre of the eye. But actually, sometimes that makes it look like they're not quite looking at us. So if you do it just slightly to the right of centre, so about here, just slightly right of centre, for some reason that makes it look like they're looking straight at us. Can you see? It looks like he's looking straight at us even though his eye's not quite in the centre. So if your animal is looking to the left like this, if you do it just to the right of the centre, and if it's the other way round, so your head's over here, you would do it just to the left of centre, so just slightly towards the body part of your animal, and it makes it look like they're looking straight at you. I don't really know why that is, but it just seems to work. So there you go, a little secret tip for you. Okay, let's add an eyebrow. I'm not going to give this turtle a mouth actually. Sometimes it's quite nice not to give them mouths. I don't know why. Again, it sort of adds to their expression somehow. Sometimes when I'm drawing characters, there's a lot. You can get a lot of information across in the things that you don't draw, almost as much as the things that you do draw. So, for example, when I'm drawing my bear characters, I quite often don't give them the whites of the eyes. I just give them two little dots for where their eyes are, and that makes them look they don't look very expressive. But what happens is, I think when you're looking at these drawings, you can sort of add your own emotions and your own feelings to the drawings. And when they have a very neutral expression, so they don't look like they have much of an expression on their face, it's very easy to do that. So sometimes it's quite a nice thing to do. And you probably notice in a lot of your books that you read, lots of other illustrators and artists, they do that with their characters, just little dots for the eyes and things. Or they might not draw the mouth in, like I'm not going to draw the mouth in this particular instance, but it just helps add to the expression sometimes. So that's why I'm not adding a mouth, but I am going to add an eyebrow. I'm going to put my eyebrow right towards the top of our turtle's head, like that. Just so it looks like he or she is raising an eyebrow. Now turtles, they have these little nostril things, so I'm going to do my little nostril I like to do. This is how I do them. We do a little tiny dot here, like that, right up in that corner, and then I'm just going to add a swirl, just coming out of that dot, just like that. And that's how I do nostrils in my turtles. This is, again, you'll remember the Gregosaurus and maybe the other dinosaurs that we draw, and that's how I do them on that as well. It's just my little style thing. So there we go. Our turtle really is beginning to take shape now. I'm going to go back to my brush pen. I changed it to another pen just to do the details because I could get a little bit more detail with a finer pen. Okay, let's add our flippers, because these turtles, they're seafaring animals, aren't they? So they have these flippers that help them swim along. So this is how we're going to do that. Towards the left-hand side of the shell, at the bottom here, what I want you to do is just a straight line coming down, not very far, about 1 centimetre or so, coming down like that. And then at the bottom of that line, we're going to go diagonally down this way. We're going to go a bit further here. We're going to go about that sort of length. So flippers are actually quite long, turtles. And then from here, we are going to draw a curve shape. We're going to go sort of start heading up, and then we're going to curve back around towards where we started, but then we're just going to stop before we get there, like that. So it's sort of almost like a semicircle. Not quite a semicircle, is it? But, you know, getting towards a semicircle. And then from that end, we're just going to go straight back up to the shell. And that is the first flipper. It's cool, isn't it? Nice and easy. We need to do another one now towards the back. So again, exactly the same shape this time, but at the back. So we're going to go straight down again. Same, you can sort of see where we stopped there. Do it about the same, and then we're going to try and get it at pretty much the same angle if you can. So a diagonal line, similar length, exactly the same. Curve back around, and then join up again. There we go, 2 flippers. They have 4 flippers, but before we do the ones behind, we're just going to add a bit of tummy. The reason I didn't add that first is because I want that tummy to be behind these front 2 flippers here. So what we do, just from about just below where the shell ends, about here, we're just going to add not quite a straight line, just a very slightly curved line for his tummy, like that. I think my turtle is a boy. I'll think of a nice name for him before we finish this. Then I'm going to change my pen. I'm going to go back to my very thin pen because I just want to add, they sort of have these sort of ridges across their tummy. So I'm just going to add a series of vertical lines just like that, just to give the tummy a little bit of texture. I just wanted to use my thinner pen to do that. It's always quite nice with when you're doing a drawing just to vary the thickness of your lines. So have some nice thick lines and then have some nice thin lines too. It just adds a bit of variety across your picture, I think. And I like to change the thickness of lines and things even within a single curve. You can see here it's very thin, and then I make it a bit thicker by just pressing a bit harder with my brush pen as I go around. Okay, now it's time to add those rear flippers. So we are going to draw exactly the same shapes again. You can maybe change the angle slightly of your flippers if you want for these back ones. So for example, I'm not going to go straight down here. I'm going to go from about here. I'm just going to come down at a slight angle with this one, like that, but about the same length. And then you can see again, I'm going to do the same sort of shape, but a slightly different angle. I'm going to stop just above there, and then I'm going to go around, and of course my curve is going to stop when it hits that because it's going behind, but then it would come out again here and rejoin there. So you can see that flipper. It's just at a very slightly different angle. And maybe we could do the same here, slightly different angle. Come down, stop above, go back around. This one, there'll be a slight, you just see a little slight suggestion of it coming out. So there we go, this is nice, I like this character. Oh, I think I might have to use this character in a book in the future. I'm really liking him. Okay, we're nearly done now before we start our colouring process. Let's add a few bubbles coming out, probably coming out of his nose actually. So we're just going to add a couple of little circles. Again, I'm using very slightly different thicknesses. I'm going to colour a couple in. We're going to do a little circle of sort of dotted lines like that, as if a bubble has popped. And I'm gradually going to make them sort of slightly bigger as they go upwards, just like that. Maybe a couple of smaller ones in and around these bigger ones. Just a little series of circles and dots like that, just to suggest that our turtle is in fact swimming under the water. And if you like, you could add a few more little areas of bubbleness just around and about our turtle, just in a few little different places. And then it's like an illusion. Do you remember we've done it before with grass? You just add little bits and pieces here and there, and it tricks the viewer into thinking that they're surrounded by bubbles. They're surrounded, in this instance, by water, and you don't actually have to do too much to suggest that. Just a few little bits here and there, and it just works really nicely. There we go, that's all I need to do. Oh, a little smudge. If you don't make any little mistakes, that's the other good thing about these bubbles, you can use them just to cover them up like that. Put a few more little dots and spots around here to even it up. And there we go. That's we've pretty much finished the outline of our turtle now, so this one's been quite a nice easy one, hasn't it? So it's time to colour them in. Now, as per usual, you can do yours any colours you like. I think what would be fun with this drawing is if you added some pattern to your shell. I think I might add lots of sort of circle patterns on my shell. You could add like hexagons. Some shells look a bit like sort of almost like a football pattern, don't they? Sort of hexagon pattern. Or you could add stripes or rainbow, our old favourite. It's quite a nice shape for a rainbow, isn't it? All of these kind of like rainbow rings going around and around, because it's sort of like a rainbow shape anyway, isn't it? Or you could add stars or diagonal lines or spots or whatever you want, but just add your own little touch. You might have noticed with a lot of my drawings, I think it's really good if you bring your own designs to these drawings. So everyone has roughly the same shape character, but everyone's drawings are totally different. So I'm going to go into super speedy mode. I think I'm going to colour this part of my turtle. I think I'm going to do it in green. And then I'm not sure what colour the shell is yet. I'll make my mind up when I get there. But you do yours whatever you like, and I'll see you back here in 30 seconds, a minute, something like that. So, are we ready? I'm going into speed mode. 3, 2, 1, let's go. So there we go, there is our finished turtle. So you can see I've added a few bits and pieces. I've added a little bit of texture on the skin, so I coloured it, shaded it all in nice and green, but I've added some little sort of dots and spots and circles a bit across the back of the neck, the head, on the flippers. Do you remember we did that with our Gregosaurus drawing as well, just to sort of suggest this texture in the skin. I added a few more pale blue dots and spots, including some here that sort of suggest a little bit of movement coming from the flippers there. In fact, maybe I should add a few just coming from the back of the shell like that. Just to suggest that our creature is moving through the water, just like that. And then I've done this sort of circular pattern on the shell, but I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys have done on your shell patterns. That's very exciting. Now I need to sign my drawing. I'm just going to do it down here, nice and small. Rob, just like that. Okay, so I think we're pretty much done. So what you need to do now, as per usual, you need to get somebody to take a picture of your drawing and then post that picture on social media using the hashtag #drawwithrob, or if you're watching on Facebook, just add the picture in the comments underneath this post, and that way hopefully I'll get to see it. And when we're putting the grid together at the end, we select lots of these, set about 80 or 90 of these drawings at random, and we put them together in the grid at the end of the day. So fingers crossed your drawing will get in that grid. If it doesn't get in this time, maybe the next time. But yes, so take a picture of your drawing, post it using that hashtag, and I can't wait to see them all. Now then, I hope you've had fun drawing along with me today. I'm going to be back very soon for another Draw with Rob video. In the meantime, I want you all to take care of yourselves. Until next time. Bye everyone.